Welcome into Seahawks Today, and we are live with your host, Will Ortner. Going to break down everything Seahawks and Saints, and at the very end of the show, we'll even make sure to have a mailbag for you. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who is here, and the best way for me to do that is to be able to give you a shout out. So right now, what I want you to do is go into the chat and spam C. Not C like the great Central Washington University, but C as in our favorite NFL team, the Seattle Seahawks. Only team, to my knowledge, that has the double SEA like that. I don't believe that any other team has that. So right now, head on in to the chat like Mikey in Houston and Brendan Yoder and spam C. Already see Brendan having a great old time off dem. ODD, what's up, brother? How are you? How's it going, Julian? Good to see you. James, what's up? Dwayne, how are you? Good to see everybody here in the chat, hanging out, having a good time. We're going to be talking Seahawks football. Nolan, what's up? I love your spelling of your name. Chad, Dylan, how's it going? Guap, Thomas, James. It's going to be a great weekend here in Seattle. I can't wait to get back to home field. Paulie, excuse me. What's up, Paulie? Xander, how are you? Good to see everyone. We got 51 people hanging out with us. Seahawk fans, the true diehards. Want to make sure that I shout all of you out. Theta State, what is up? If you have a chance to, make sure you go and like the video as well. You got 51 people in. Got to make sure we get that up to 50 likes as well. James, go Mariners, go. I completely agree. Do you think Cal Raleigh's going to get to 60? I think he's got a really good shot at it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Nick, yeah, it was a rough one for Gino. Gino did not do well. Our Raiders host, Mitchell Renz, wasn't super thrilled by his output, but that's okay. What's up, Dredd? How are you? Number 8, I don't know where you're going with that one, James. Not exactly sure with where you're going that one. Yeah, hey, look, ODD, sometimes you have bad games. Sometimes you have bad games. Not everyone said Gino over Sam. Some people, myself included, was actually okay with Sam. Sometimes you got to go with Sam because he's cheaper and because he is younger. Want to make sure that I give a special shout out to the man behind the keyboard. I don't know if any of you guys have gotten a chance to meet the great AOC, and that's not fair because you are not an O in your middle name, but I want to make sure that we shout out AC running the producing board today, playing a little bit of musical chairs. You're supposed to be hanging out with the Giants. You get to hang out with the Seahawks instead.
Yo. What's up, chat? Yeah, excited to work with Will. Get on the Seahawks channel today. Respect for the 12s, always. And, yeah, looking forward to talking some ball today.
Yes, sir. AC, you're already getting shout out from Eddie. Eddie, of course, I had to make sure that I got AC on. AC's killing it. And I took a couple jabs at his Giants in today's segments. So I wanted to make sure that I give him a little bit of love as well.
Yeah, I actually think I know Eddie. He's quite a clown. Big Giants fan himself as well. Probably at work right now watching this. So absolute real one.
Hey, that's what a real one does. A real one goes to work and then still has us on that little side camera. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Daniel, happy Thursday to you as well. Where was it? Nick, you think Cal gets to 63? I really freaking hope he does. I think I'm more with James at that 58 mark. He will have the solo record. He's going to beat Griffey. Right now he's tied, I think, with 56. I think he's going to get there. Chad, not only do I miss Ellensburg, I miss that I'm not going to be there for Hometown Heroes Week. Obviously, the Central Washington Wildcats, everyone knows about the Central Washington Wildcats having the big game of the week in Washington, taking on West Texas A&M. I miss Ellensburg. I miss the TAV. Those who know. AC doesn't know about the TAV. The TAV is the best burger you'll ever get. It's called a Hungry Mother or a Super Mother, AC. The TAV does it right.
All right, break it down for me then.
Kay.
What are the ingredients on this burger from top to bottom?
Okay, so you're going in, obviously, bun. Then you're going to get some sort of burger patty with the Hungry Mother. I believe it's two. Just normal Super Mother, I think, is just one. You throw a little bit of cheese on there. Then you're going to throw a little bit of ham.
Okay.
And you're going to throw, in, for what I do, you're going to throw a little bit of bacon on there.
Okay.
Tav, plus, you can't miss it. It is the staple of Ellensburg. It is on Main Street. Boom, right there. Some sort of secret sauce. Throw a little bit of lettuce on there. Throw a little bit of onion. If you like tomato, you can. Personally, not a tomato guy. Doesn't get better than the Tav. If you are in Ellensburg, Washington, ever, 2 places you got to visit. You got to visit the Tav if you're over 21. Go get a Hungry Mother. And then the other spot you got to go visit is called Campus Utotem. Go get a milkshake. It's the thick stuff. You know what I'm talking about? With like 2 C's and probably a Q in there as well. Dude, you're over there trying to suck it down.
Yeah.
Trying to get that milkshake. But that's the way that it should be. That's the way that it needs to be when you're getting a quality milkshake. It's right next to Central Washington. Great campus. Also, shouts out to Washington State and Washington. Got the Apple Cup. But I do want to make sure that we get to this because I can talk about what's going on with your Seahawks, Central Washington Wildcats, Washington State Cougars, and UW Huskies anytime. I want to answer questions for our Seahawks. So the beauty about today, we got a mailbag where you can make sure that your voice is heard. And the best way to do that is to use the hashtag Seahawks when you're asking a question. Brendan was here last Thursday. He already knows the deal, so he can make sure that he gets it out for you guys. If you have a question that you want answered, you're going to use the hashtag Seahawks, and we will answer it in our third segment of the day. Now, the beauty of the questions is if you're looking at yourself and you're saying, Will, there are so many Seahawk fans in the chat right now, over 40 already. How can I guarantee that I get my question on the screen? Well, you can send in a super chat, and we'll make sure that we get you to the very top of the list. I learned about this thing called a Fast Pass from producer Reed the other day, AC, and basically that's exactly what it is. If you want to make sure that you get your question all the way to the top, just send in a super chat.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to Disney World, the Fast Pass takes you to the front of the line
Right.
at all of the rides. So the way to get to the front of the line here, get your question answered by our Seahawks expert, Will Ortner, and get involved and kind of control the show a little bit, get to kind of have a say in what the topics are on our show later today, is by super chatting in. But, you know, if you can't afford to super chat or you are unable to super chat, no worries.
No big
Just use
deal.
hashtag Seahawks, and we'll be able to get those questions up later on the show. So
Yeah, 100%. You know what? While we do that, I already see a couple people sending in some hashtag Seahawks. I'll make sure that we get to that. Dread, go Dogs. Good luck to you, sir. Before we jump into that, while you're still sending in those hashtags, I want to let you know what we got on tap for today's show, because it's one of those deals where I'm going to make you wait for the best for last. We're going to be talking about why the Seahawks are going to dominate first. It's the New Orleans Saints. They're one of the bottom teams right now in the NFL. I said it myself. I don't think they're the worst team. Now, I was having a little bit of fun at our great Saints Now host, Trizzy Trace, where I said, Saints, worst team in the NFL. They're not. I think if you look at some of the other bad teams, Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphins, just to name a few, you'll see that this Saints team is fighting. They're playing better. Kellen Moore, the pride of Prosser, Washington, he's stepping up as a head coach. Guys are playing hard for him. So I'm going to tell you why the Seahawks need to do certain things so that way they can dominate on Sunday. End that game early. Don't let the Saints have any hope of coming back in this one. Then I'm going to give you my Will's watch list, the 5 Hawks to watch on Sunday. If you watched the Pittsburgh game with us, came and hung out during our watch party, you would see that me and Chugs, we gave out a couple of different players that you need to watch out for in that game. Guess what? I think all 5 of them played a big role in that game. DeMarcus Lawrence might be the only one who didn't, air quotes, have a big game. The only thing was he just didn't get a sack in that one. Otherwise, dude was lights out, on fire. We had Cooper Kupp. We were talking about Kenneth Walker. I don't know if you know about those 2 guys. You probably do. You're hanging out here on Seahawks Today. They had a pretty darn good game. Mailbag, of course, that's where we're going to end it. So make sure you use the hashtag Seahawks, or if you want to jump the line, the Fast Pass, which I learned about because I'm not a big Disneyland, Disney World guy. Not a ride guy. Sorry, I like my feet on the ground. You can send in a super chat. We'll make sure that we jump you all the way to the front of the line on that. So stick around for that mailbag. You don't want to miss your questions. Also, if you have an opportunity, right now we're at 25 likes. Got to make sure that we get the Seahawks the love that they deserve. Come on in, fire off some likes. If we get to, what's a good number, you think, AC? What's a good number to start the first segment?
Let's see. We're at 26 right now. Let's see if we can get to 33.
33.
33 before we start our next segment. We want to get into the show, but we want to make sure we're at 33 likes before we get into the show.
Mike, I don't think that AC was driving the Broncos. Different AC. Different AC. That's fantastic. He didn't use hashtag Seahawks, so I can answer that question. I thought for a second there he used the hashtag Seahawks, which would have been a funny way to get your question on the screen. I already see Paulie and Brendan. They're firing them off. Love that. I do want to remind everybody that we are in a sub battle right now with Saints Now. This is the score, 133 new subs to the channel here on Seahawks Today. Thank you. I appreciate it to everyone who has joined. Saints Now, they're at 143. They're only 10 ahead of us. We got to find a way to catch up. So if you have a friend who's a big fan of your Seattle Seahawks, make sure that you share the channel with them so they can jump on in, join us, and, just have a darn good time beating the Saints' butt and watching our favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. Did we get the likes up? Eddie's been quoting it. Eddie's fired up. Eddie's ready to go. Did we get there?
I think we're at it. We're at 36 right now, so in just a few seconds we'll get started with the show. Mike is another guy who I think should probably be working right now, but shout out to him for hopping in and supporting.
I love that. I love that AC's got a crew. I love that you've got a crew of people that are clear fans, diehards, willing to lay it all out on the line. I'd like to join in on that crew.
I would ride for those guys. So shout out Mike, shout out Eddie, shout out all the real ones in the chat.
The real ones. I love that. I absolutely love that. Hey, Bunny. I was going to say, Bunny, make sure you get that hashtag Seahawks and we'll get you in the mailbag. But first, Brendan's been calling for it. Brendan wants it right now. We already got that 33 like mark. In fact, we got all the way to 37. I think it's fair time to get into our first segment. All right, so on Sunday, we've got a gigantic game for your Seattle Seahawks. They are taking on the New Orleans Saints in Lumen. And look, I understand that you're a 7.5-point favorite in this game, but that doesn't mean that you can just walk into this game against the Saints and be lackadaisical. You need to be ready and firing on all cylinders. I'm not just talking to the players. I'm talking to you, the 12s. We cannot let happen what happened last year when we played the New York Giants. The Seahawks just weren't ready for prime time. They were not fired up, not ready to go, and it showed on the field. The Seahawks need to be ready, and if they come out and play the way that we know they can, I think they're going to dominate, and I mean dominate the Saints later on today. And the best way for the Seahawks to do that is to make sure that they don't, and I mean they don't, overlook an opponent. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. You're going to want to make sure that you like this video so that way you can see why the Seahawks are going to dominate the Saints. And I'm not going to start this video until you go and click on that thumbs up button. I'm waiting. All right, that first reason why, thank you for liking the video as well. The first reason why the Seahawks are going to win is because of this defensive line. Right now, I would make the argument that you have the best defensive line in the NFL. They are playing with their hair on fire and playing as dominant freaks. I got Byron Murphy right now up on the screen, and that's because he's playing and performing at the level that we all knew he finally could. After you went out and you signed him last year in that draft, you made sure you brought Byron Murphy in from Texas. He was supposed to be a star, hadn't hit that quite yet. But then I think he learned from this guy that we're pulling up right now, and he has taken that next step forward. Leonard Williams was your superstar week one. He had 7 tackles, but more important to me are those QB hits and those pressures. Yes, he wasn't able to get a sack on Brock Purdy, but he was constantly in the backfield. He was constantly making Brock Purdy sweat. He didn't let him feel comfortable in the pocket, and that's why you saw the 49ers stick to that 17-point total, because this secondary had time to stick to those wide receivers. In the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I already shouted him out. He was your MVP. That's Byron Murphy II. 1.5 sacks. In my eyes, he shouldn't have had that as a half sack. It should have been a full sack all by himself. And when you're getting pressure from the middle of your defensive line, it makes everything else easier because now teams have to double Byron Murphy. They can't double your guys on the edge. They can't double Jaron Reed. They can't double Leonard Williams, and they can come free one-on-one. Leonard Williams has shown that when he comes free off of that outside, he's going to hit home every single freaking time. Byron Murphy has made this defensive line elite, not by the addition of him simply, but because of the way that he has taken a gigantic step forward in that year 1 to year 2. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I just went on a good 2 to 3 minute run there where I'm hyping up our boys on the interior defensive line. I haven't even gotten a chance to talk about our edge rushers. And I'll tell you right now, DeMarcus Lawrence is having maybe the quietest, best year from an edge rusher. And you might be saying to yourself, Will, what does that mean? Well, right now, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's almost double-digit tackle numbers. He has caused so many more because he has forced runners on other teams to cut back inside when they want to run on the outside. DeMarcus Lawrence has not let runners like Christian McCaffrey, like Warren from Pittsburgh, get that outside, forcing everyone back into Ernest Jones, into Tyrese Knight, into Byron Murphy, into Jaron Reed. And the Seahawks have been that much better because of it. Yes, he doesn't have a sack on the year yet, and I think that's why most people talk about those edge rushers of, hey, you need to come in and get sacks. Right now, the way he's playing, DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't need to get any sacks because he's freeing things up for everybody else. And DeMarcus Lawrence is just the tip of the iceberg of what this defensive front can be on that edge rush side. Boye Mafe right now, he doesn't have a sack. He's getting in the backfield every single freaking play that he's out there. He's one of the top guys in the NFL when it comes to pass rush win rates. And that's a fancy nerd stat for telling you offensive linemen, they just can't block him. Derek Hall has as many pressures right now as Byron Murphy, and Byron Murphy is one of the top pressure guys in the NFL. In fact, guess what these three guys have in common? Derek Hall, Byron Murphy, Micah freaking Parsons. They all three have the same amount of pressures on the season. If this Seahawks defensive front seven, defensive line can continue to dominate the Saints, they are going to win this game because everything gets miles and miles easier when your defensive line is making plays. I had an old coach that used to tell me this back in the day, Coach Fisk. You are okay with linebackers making tackles because linebackers just make tackles. They make tackles all the time. It's 2-3 yard gain. When a defensive lineman makes a tackle, 9 times out of 10, that's a tackle in the backfield, and that's a tackle for a loss. Those are drive killers. This defensive line, they keep playing the way we know they can. Watch out. I think you're dominating the Saints on Sunday. Offensive line is my next group to watch and why Seattle is going to dominate on Sunday. Later on today, I keep saying Sunday. Silly me. This offensive line makes everything go. And for the best way for them to put you in that spot is to let them run the freaking ball. You found their identity. I know it's not a shock. The former offensive lineman wants to talk about offensive line play. But when you run the football as an offensive line, it stops the other teams from being able to pin their ears back and rush the passer. It also allows your running back to gain confidence. We saw what Kenneth Walker looks like when he's not confident. When he was not confident against the 49ers, he was barely averaging 2 yards a carry. Frankly, if you ask me, he was having a horrific game. A game to the point where I was saying, hey, it should be Zach Charbonnet getting all the touches because Zach Charbonnet actually looked halfway decent. Now, obviously, there was some egg on my face, the way that Kenneth Walker came out and performed against the Steelers. That 8.1 yards per average, that doesn't tell the real story because in the second half, guess what? He was averaging just under 10 yards a touch, and most of those were coming from the left side. I think what this offensive line showed in that second half against Pittsburgh to OC Clint Kubiak and the rest of that crew, they showed that if you run the football effectively, this is going to be the peak of what this team can be. You dominated Pittsburgh, and it opened up the passing game for Sam Darnold. When you look at his negative stats from last week, those 2 interceptions, guess where they came in? They came early in the game. They came in the first half. They didn't come in the second half when you were running the football all over this Pittsburgh team. when Pittsburgh had to load the box, when Pittsburgh had to leave guys like Torrey Horton, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Ever heard of them? Ever heard of Cooper Kupp? When you had to leave those guys one-on-one and they got open, they made big-time plays. That's when Sam Darnold stopped making the mistakes. That's when Sam Darnold threw for almost 300 yards in that game. Trust the offense that you built. We saw you build this offense in the preseason. Against the 49ers, you didn't lean on that offensive line. And frankly, it cost you a game. If you lean on that offensive line against the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, you're going to be pretty darn happy with how that game turns out. Now, I want to talk about my last couple of reasons why you're going to dominate. But first, I got to talk to you about today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I was playing Prize Picks this weekend. Should have used that flex play option, just saying. Got a 3-pick power play for this Sunday. Julian Love going against that vaunted Cleveland Browns defense. More than 232.5 passing yards. Matthew Stafford, boo, the Rams. Less than 245.5 passing yards. Sam Darnold, our Sam Darnold, more than 212.5 passing yards. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, that third reason why I have your team being dominant is the turnovers. If you are able to go out and turn over this New Orleans Saints team, you are going to win the game. And I know that a lot of people are saying, well, no duh, 75% of the time or whatever the number is. It's right around that 70-75% mark in the NFL that you win the turnover battle, you win the football game. Well, here's the thing. Kellen Moore has got Spencer Rattler playing pretty freaking smart. New Orleans has not had an intercepted pass this season. And that's frankly from good coaching from Kellen Moore, but it's also because Spencer Rattler's been very good at making sure he doesn't throw interceptions, not putting the ball in harm's way. Is some of that because he's not really testing the ball downfield? Is that because he's not trusting his receivers to go and make plays? Yeah, a little bit. He's making sure that he makes a smart play, not taking the big gamble, trying to put themselves in a position to win games, but he's also not losing them games. This is the week that it changes. If you have the defensive line that's in the backfield all the time, making him throw off his back foot, making his timing with his normal receivers, tight ends, a little bit off, not allowing him to get the ball to Chris Olave, then this secondary can go and make big-time plays. Julian Love, he's already forced a turnover. I think that he can force another as well. We're not talking enough about this cornerback group when it comes to how well they've been playing. And some of it is because, well, you haven't had Devin Witherspoon. He's been hurt. He's been out. And so, there's more of a concern there. Josh Jobe has been one of the best corners in all of football this year. Reek Woolen, he had a bad drive, a really bad drive. He came back and stepped up and really made a name for himself when he was going up against DK Metcalf on Sunday. Darian Kendrick got some time as that third nickel. Wow, oh wow, was I impressed. 1 interception, should have had 2 if he doesn't try to catch the ball with his face mask. I think this secondary can get after them. When you look at the safeties, Julian Love has already been making plays. Shoot, we know he's going to make a ton of plays. Kobe Bryant had a game-sealing interception in this game. Gigantic deal. Go and take some risks. When you have an opportunity in this secondary group, if there's a 50-50 ball, go for it. Go and make a play. We've seen what happens when you're passive. Look at what happened to Reek Woolen against the 49ers. He took a sack. He didn't jump up for the ball. He tried to let the ball come to him. You know what Kobe Bryant did? When that ball was thrown up, he went for it. He tried to go get it. Your teammates are there to back you up. They're so fast. They're always in the right spot. This defense does not mess up because Coach Mike Macdonald has drilled into them where they need to be, what their job is, and what their assignment is. So when I look at this team and I look at this secondary specifically, I'm asking them, no, I'm telling them, go take risks because Spencer Rattler isn't going to take those risks. Go and make plays. Go get turnovers. If you turn this New Orleans Saints team over, they will lose this game. They're bad on third down. They are bad at killing themselves with penalties. You add in that third big killer of turnovers, you're going to be pretty darn happy about when you can turn the channel on the Seahawks game because it'll be over in the third quarter. The last reason why the Seahawks are going to win is because of you, because of me, maybe even because of producer AC. And the reason is the 12s are the best fan base in all of the NFL. The entire league, we are the best. And we haven't been the best since Coach Mike Macdonald came in. Being 3-7 at Lumen Field is not good enough. And it's not just all on head coach Mike Macdonald. It's not all just on the players. It's on us. We have to look inward. We have to do our part. I remember going to a game when I was in middle school. It was, that really bad Jim Mora year. Matt Hasselbeck was the quarterback, I believe still. I don't think he'd moved on to Tavares Jackson, although maybe you had. TJ Hujmanzada was there because Mora stole his Rolex or whatever the deal was. The team was horrible. No good. There's a reason why he got ran out of town that year. But it was still loud in Lumen. It caused multiple penalties. They still throw the tracker up on the Jumbotron. Hey, this is how many penalties we've caused. Here's the rest of the league. You're the first stadium that ever had an earthquake because fans were cheering so dang hard. And that was against these New Orleans Saints. You can do that again. We can do that again. So make sure that you get it loud. Make sure that you get it rocking. Make sure that we do our part because 3-7 isn't good enough anymore. I'm trying to go 1-0, and that's because of the fans. These are my 4 reasons why the Seahawks are going to dominate the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. In fact, later on today. You need to dominate, and I think that you can. Do not miss our watch party. We're going to be live an hour before the game. Come and join us if you can't be one of those loud rockin' 12s. I know that you want to be, but sometimes you can't make it to a game. You can make it to this watch party. It's free of charge. All you got to do is click on that video. So make sure that you join us. And thank you so much for viewing today's video. Man, if you got a question after we just ran through that AC absolutely killing it on the 1s and 2s, you can make sure that you fire that off. Hashtag Seahawks. We'll make sure that we get your questions in the chat. If you want to jump to the front of the line, make sure that we answer your question. Because, look, there were 1,000 questions, basically. Not good at math. Shout out, Miss Kretz. In our last live, last Thursday, unfortunately, wasn't able to get to everybody's question. You want to make sure that you get your question up there? Super chat. Doesn't have to be a lot of money. Can be some money. Or you can just do the hashtag and keep your fingers crossed. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you as well. Brendan, I did say just the tip.
You just saw Will's keys to victory. So if you agree, disagree, have questions about what you think's going to take for the Seahawks to win on Sunday, drop them in the comment. Use hashtag Seahawks. Will can talk about it. You guys can debate, chop it up, let him know whether or not you think he's right, whether you think he's wrong. But I believe at the beginning of the show you did kind of claim your success, your victory a little bit on your keys to victory last week, or was that was the players to watch? I think
that was the players to watch. Yeah, we didn't do keys to victory. I had to switch it up. I'm bringing the keys to victory back.
Yeah,
because the players to watch. Well, it did well. The boys liked it. It seemed like, and the girls, hopefully.
Yeah, everyone, all the fans in the chat, and all the loyal Seahawks Today subscribers. Yes. So.
Yes, sir. Eddie's saying that you're an honorary 12.
Yeah, I'm here today. Honorary 12, absolutely.
I do love that. I love that for you. You want to be an honorary 12. It's the best fan base.
Yeah, I'm gonna need something to root for soon because the Giants season's about to be over pretty quickly.
Well, hopefully not. I'll keep some love there for you. Bunny 26, what's up? Good to see you. Chieferton, good to see you as well. Right now we have 44 people in the video. We have 44 likes. That's 100% like ratio. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much to everyone who has come in and liked the video, hanging out, having a good time. We are going to be live. Now, I'm going to stop myself. I almost went through it. we're going to be live for every Thursday. We are going to be live next Thursday, but it'll be a watch party next Thursday because the Seahawks will be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. I do not know when our next live will be, but I'll make sure as soon as I know that I get it out and I post it over on my social media. So if you have a chance, you can always head over to @WillOrtner and follow me there. We had some positives going out. And in week 1, I asked you to push some of those through, talk to us about it. Now that you've had 2 games through, what was a positive that you didn't notice in week 1 that became a bigger deal in week 2? And what I mean by that is how well the defense played. So my positive takeaway in week 1 that I saw really show up on week 2 was that interior defensive line. They started out as a group that dominated that game 1, but I didn't give them enough credit because the big plays came from the secondary or from Ernest Jones. Tyrese Knight had a couple big tackles as well. When I look at how well that defensive line played in the first game and in the second game, it made me realize, hey, this defensive line is really the key to the ignition of this defense. They're the ones who are getting in the backfield, making the big time plays, opening things up for everybody else, allowing the secondary to play more freely, allowing the secondary to go in and make big time stops, make big time plays on the football because they know their defensive line is going to be there. I also think that it's important when you have a good defensive line like the Seahawks do, that it takes away the run game. When you can make a team one-dimensional, shoot, there's just nothing better than that. AC, I know you didn't get to watch a ton of Seahawks football. You've been watching the New York Giants, but you do have a former Seattle Seahawk that's manning the helm there at your quarterback spot. And are you sussy for Russie? Has he been a positive takeaway from week 1 to week 2? I mean, he had a bad week 1. He had a great week 2.
Yeah, if he plays like he did in week 2, I'm going to be very, very sussy for Russie. A Russie Rider, as I believe they're called. So, yeah, you guys got a few former Giants on the roster too. Julian Love,
yeah.
Leonard Williams, power in that defense. So I wish we kept those guys, man. Those guys are ballers. Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't. I'll tell you what, right now, we've got a bunch of really good questions going in on the mailbag right now. Make sure that you use that hashtag Seahawks, or you can send in a super chat as well. Julian's been firing off all day. Love to see Julian. Eddie O is strictly jumping up the fandom chart.
Absolutely.
He and Brendan really caught on the tip. They are really big fans of me coming out and, accidentally. Maybe not accidentally. Just saying tip of the iceberg.
It's on brand for Eddie, it seems like, based on
he's
his
a big
activity
fan of
in the
tip.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what happens to the best of us. It's an inside classic joke. Right now we're at 47 likes. I appreciate it. I hope that one day we can get to 50, and by one day I mean here soon. So, while I film the next segment, and by I mean we, because AC is running the 1s and 2s. If you don't have a buddy who is in here and they are big Seahawks fans, make sure that you share that link with them, get them joined in, because we only have, probably 15 to 20 minutes or so before it's mailbag time, and you want to make sure that you get your questions in for that. So we're going to do the 5 Hawks to watch, hang out, chat a little bit, and then we'll get into the mailbag, which you don't want to miss. Use the hashtag Seahawks to get your question in, or you can send a super chat to make sure that your question gets on to the show. The Seahawks cannot let this game against the New Orleans Saints turn into last year's game against the New York Giants. They have to, and I mean have to, win this football game, because it could be the reason why you make it into the postseason or why you don't make it in the postseason. I have 5 Seahawks that you need to watch here on Seahawks Today with your host, Will Ortner. But before I do that, I need to ask you, how confident are you in this Seahawks team? And I want you to scale, will they win, on a confidence meter from 1 to 12. 12 being they're going to win. I am not worried at all about the game, Will. I might not even watch. To one where you're saying, man, those New Orleans Saints, they are feisty. Maybe they find a way to get a W in Seattle. In fact, I think they definitely will get a W in Seattle. If you ask my opinion, I'm an 11 out of 12. I'm pretty darn confident that your Seahawks are getting the dub. Now we're going to dive into my watch list here. Byron Murphy is the number one player in my eyes that needs to perform for your Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, and I think that he will. We are finally seeing the Byron Murphy that we drafted. We are seeing the best defensive lineman that some scouts were saying was in that 2024 draft class. Byron Murphy has been absolutely on fire. He's in the backfield making plays through 2 weeks. He's one of your top tackle getters. 11 tackles from an interior defensive lineman is an insane statistic. That doesn't even go into the fact that he's already got more sacks than he had last year. That doesn't go into the fact that right now he's already tied with Micah Parsons for pressures, which is one of the top pressure numbers in the entire NFL this season. Yes, the tackle for loss number needs to get up, but right now, Byron Murphy, dude's a freaking war daddy. And if you don't know what a war daddy is, let me introduce you to what a war daddy is. It's a guy who cannot be blocked. In offensive line meeting rooms, a war daddy is someone that you circle, you focus on. You try and figure out if you need to double, if you need to triple team him on some plays. Because a war daddy completely changes a game for the team that the war daddy is on. He allows everybody else to fly around because they get one-on-one matchups. If Byron Murphy's taking on a double team at the nose guard, well, guess what? That means Leonard Williams has to be by himself. I like Leonard Williams when he's by himself. That means that DeMarcus Lawrence gets to be in a one-on-one matchup with the tackle. I like DeMarcus Lawrence one-on-one in a pass rush situation. Boye Mafe, that guy keeps dominating when it comes to his pass rush win rate. That's because of Byron Murphy taking on all the pressure on the interior defensive line. You need Byron Murphy to continue to play like the war daddy he is, and I think that he will for your Seattle Seahawks. He is going to have a massive game, and we're going to see one of the best 3-game stretches from a nose guard in Seattle Seahawks history. I'm not saying he's Cortez Kennedy. I might be saying he's Cortez Kennedy. Now, the next player that I want to talk about is Sam Darnold. Your quarterback has had, I'm going to say, an up and down first 2 games. Now, I would say there's more positives than negative when it comes to what Sam Darnold has been doing for this team. But I also think that there is plenty of room for improvement. There's already the conversation that people are talking about that should it have been Geno? Should it have been Sam? Some guys are saying Geno week 1, saying Sam week 2. I'm not going to get in that conversation. I'm going to make you wait a year or 2 before I decide who the real winner is. Weird. Someone has patience. But I'll tell you, if Sam wants to make sure that he's the winner of this signing, in my eyes, between Geno and Sam Darnold, he's got to find a way to turn the ball over less. He's got 3 turnovers already on the season, and one of them ended up being a big deal. Now, the other 2 didn't end up being complete game changers for you, but it's still not good to give other teams multiple opportunities to score and have those big momentum shifters. When we look at the turnovers that Darnold has had in the 2025 season, the big one that's going to jump out for everyone is the fumble. He's going back to pass against the 49ers, opens his arm up just like this. Hand gets hit on Abe Lucas's back, fumble, Nick Bosa gets the ball. Can't have that happen. The first interception that he threw against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Jalen Ramsey, I don't want to absolutely kill him for it, but I really should. That interception was all his fault. Lead Cooper Kupp. He's running to the outside edge. Make sure that you hit him in a space where only he can catch the football. Didn't do it. The second interception, not entirely his fault. Cam Hayward is a beast. If Sam Darnold does not turn the football over against these New Orleans Saints, you're going to win this freaking football game. The New Orleans Saints have to find a way to turn Sam Darnold over, turn over the Seahawks in general, if they have a shot to win this football game. So just don't do it. Don't give them the opportunity to turn the ball over on you. And I think that less turnovers are going to start happening because we saw that in the Steelers game. In the second half, you know what Sam Darnold didn't do? He didn't turn the ball over. He made sure to hold on to the football. He made sure to do the right thing with the ball. Find the open receiver, and if it wasn't there, throw the football away. He didn't do that in the first half, and that's why that game was close. Game wasn't close in the second half because he didn't turn the ball over. I was very impressed with that. I got to get into the rest of my watch list, but before I do, we need to talk about today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I was playing Prize Picks this weekend. I should have used the flex play option. I'm just saying. Right now, you can see the 3-pick power play that I cooked up for this Sunday. Jordan Love going up against the Cleveland Browns, more than 232.5 passing yards. Matthew Stafford, boo the Rams, boo Matthew Stafford, 245.5 passing yards, less. Sam Darnold, our Sam Darnold, 212.5 passing yards, more against the New Orleans Saints. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, my third player on our watch list is Charles Cross. I'm cheating when I do this. Charles Cross is going to be the guy that I have my eye on the most because of how well he has played this season. That being said, I am death staring this entire offensive line unit because they have a tall task this weekend. When you're going up against the New Orleans Saints, Cam Jordan has been making a killing at that defensive end his entire career. He's one of the all-time elite pass rushers, and there's good reason for it. He's earned that. Well, there's a kid, Granderson, that's out there who's been absolutely nails as well. He's got 3.5 sacks on the year already in week 2. This offensive line unit has been a gigantic step up from last year. They need to continue to play at the rate that they have been. Now, I will say, Charles Cross, you need to sign him and offer him that extension right now because every single day, the price of the brick goes up. He is that good. And not to quote The Wire here on a Seahawks channel, but goodness gracious, he deserves every penny. If this crew can continue to play the way that they have been, you will win this game, and you will win it easy. This offensive line, if they get their hand in the dirt, they're opening up holes for Kenneth Walker, for fingers crossed, Zach Charbonnet at the time of this recording. He did miss last practice. Hopefully he'll be good to go. Maybe it's George Halani. That guy proved in the preseason that he can run. This offensive line gets that unit going, opens everything up for the run game. Well, then the play action pass is there. Maybe we can finally get America's badass a nice first down catch, his first catch as a true NFL player, Robbie Oots, out of the fullback position. But more importantly, it opens things up for Jackson Smith-Njigba. It opens things up for Cooper Kupp. It opens things up for everybody else, and it allows Sam Darnold to be comfortable in the pocket. If this offensive line specifically led, you might say, the tip of the spear with Charles Cross, if these guys can play the way we know they can, you're going to win on Sunday. It's going to be easy, and you'll be thinking about switching the channel back to NFL Red Zone or to our watch party because the game is over that quickly. I already brought up the run game. Got to talk about Kenneth Walker because right now, when you look at the injury report, I already mentioned it, Zach Charbonnet, hey, he's missing some time this week. Is he going to be able to, one, be healthy enough to play? Is he going to be out there? And if he's not, Kenneth Walker, show us that lightning can strike twice. Show us that you can build off your performance against Pittsburgh. Continue to make me eat crow. I was up here saying, hey, man, it should be Sharp all by himself. If you go out and you have another performance like you did against Pittsburgh, not only should it be a 2 running back, hey, interchange, maybe you should just be the feature back. Because right now, when you look at those stats, it doesn't give him enough justice of how well he played in that game. 8.1 yards per average is wrong because in the second half, he was basically at 10 yards on average for every single touch that he had. Now, I did cheat a little bit in this because 105 yards, 91 of which, I believe, might be 93, came on that left side right behind Charles Cross. You continue to run the football the way that Kenneth Walker did against Pittsburgh, you are going to win this football game against the New Orleans Saints, and you are not going to allow those defensive ends to get into their pass rush stances, which is huge. Kenneth Walker can take back over being the main back all by himself. It's what he was before this year, before his injury last year made him miss the last 6 or so games. Can he continue to prove me and all the other haters wrong? That he is exactly what he was his rookie year. That he just had some injury issues and that those were a blip on the radar. Hey, he ended up missing a lot of time during training camp. Maybe he's back where he should be, where he needs to be if he wants to be that running back one that everyone's been talking about, that he could be, that he was that first year when he was a rookie. Prove me wrong, Kenneth Walker. It makes me smile so much to be proven wrong by you. Anyone else? That's a frown, and I'd get mad. The last player that I got to talk about is someone that I haven't talked enough about, you haven't talked enough about, AC hasn't talked enough about, nobody's talked enough about Josh Jobe. He's been unbelievable at corner. No one can catch the football on him. He's not allowing receivers to get any open space. And frankly, at this point, the fact that we're not making comparisons to him and other greats in the NFL right now is a disservice to Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe came in as a player that, frankly, I was talking about, well, maybe he'll work his way in if there's an injury. Maybe he'll get some secondary time if some other guys are not performing up to snuff. And it would be easy if you were a casual fan, which if you're tuned into Seahawks Today, I know you're not, to say, well, he got in because of the injury report. Like, no Devin Witherspoon, dude's dealing with an MCL bruise, missed a lot of practice time. I get it. That makes sense why Josh Jobe's in. Or you could say, Nicky Manwari's hurt too. So you have 2 injuries. Got to shuffle some things around. Got to make sure that you have the right corners in the right spots. But here's the thing. Despite how nervous I was with Josh Jobe being a starter, he has taken all of those nerves and made them go completely away. He already had an interception on the season. Very first game, makes a big-time play. I was standing up on the mountaintops after this game saying, in that first game, saying that Josh Jobe is a good corner. I'm now saying he's a great corner. If you got Devin Witherspoon back and Nicky Manwari, he would still be out there starting. I don't know that it would be Reek Woolen that's starting. The way that Reek Woolen has looked this season, I would like to say he took a step up in that Pittsburgh game. But the 49ers game made me lose a lot of, let's say trust in him. And he's slowly earning it back. Josh Jobe took the little trust I had in him, ran it, and now he's become one of my favorite players to watch. All the time when I see those PFF graphs that I still am a little confused on what everything means, when they say, hey, the good corner's in the top right, I always see Josh Jobe right over there in the top right. Although, it's probably over there in the top right. We're still working out our rights and lefts here on Seahawks Today. This is my watch list for this game. I think your Seattle Seahawks go out and dominate. It's because Byron Murphy, Sam Darnold, Charles Cross, Kenneth Walker, and Josh Jobe lead the way. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the guys are not going to step up and perform just the same way that these 5 are, according to my watch list. Let me know who you think is going to step up and have a big-time game for your Seattle Seahawks. It can be a player that has already popped and you think they're going to continue to pop, or it can be a player that you don't think has popped yet and is going to finally show us what they can do in the position that they are in. Make sure that you get that in the comments. I can't wait to see what you leave. Make sure to follow me on social media. Already talked about it at Will Ortner on Twitter, on Instagram. If you DM me, I will make sure that I DM you back. There have been plenty of people who have had conversations with me. Randall's fantastic. Dan Tipper has had conversations with me as well. I'm going through as, sometimes that CTE catches up with me, and I can't always remember the people that I've had conversations with in my DMs. I can't remember if I did with Brendan or with Julian. But those are great guys. If you ever want to have a conversation with me about the Seahawks, you can make sure to message me over there. It's our last call. Only have a little bit of time left. Make sure you use that hashtag Seahawks to get that in whatever question you have. If you're worried and you're like, hey, Will, people like Brendan have been firing off their hashtag Seahawk questions all the way from the beginning of the show, you can make sure that you get those in and seen by sending in a super chat because you'll jump right to the front of the line. AC is running the ones and twos, absolutely killing it. What you got, brother?
Yeah, definitely wanted to hop on here, show myself on the screen, and let people know that this may be the largest producer-host combo in chat sports history.
Yes.
You guys know Will's a big guy, former offensive lineman. I am also a big guy myself, about 6'5", 260 these days. So
Big sexy.
this may be a record. I don't know where they keep those kind of stats at, but might have to throw that in the chat for the people at work and see if we can get any sort of confirmation there from some of the chat sports OGs and see what it's been like. But
I was gonna say not only do I think it's the tallest, it might be the heaviest. Like we're big sexies.
Yeah,
we're
that's
big
it.
strong.
Big men do it better. So
yes, we do.
They sometimes they got to do the dirty work. Sometimes it's not respected, but I think it's really the backbone of any operation. So
yeah, no, 100%. I think the beauty of the big guy is that we understand how everything else is running for everybody else. Big guys are the best. Like I don't know about you, I have a lot of like former offensive lineman friends, guys who are still kind of offensive linemen.
Yeah,
a couple of them, and the stories that we have, the way we look at life is just completely different. The way that we handle things is just different, and it leads to funnier, better, more personal interaction.
I think we just have more fun. I think that's it. I think laid back, easy going. Have you ever met a big guy who wasn't just friendly and happy all the time? No. Obviously, then the alignment, you get on the field and you flip that switch, but usually then you get off the field and they're just nice, happy.
They're the best
easy
people.
Guys. They're not stressed out. They don't have any sort of little man complex that you see sometimes from some little guys. So yeah, just wanted to get on, show my face, show the 12 some love, all the Seahawks Today real ones. Give them some more time to get some questions in.
100%.
Use that hashtag Seahawks, super chat if you like and if you're able to. But in a few more minutes here, we'll get going on that mailbag.
Oh, 100%. I'll tell you right now, AC, you have the best hair on this channel too. Not even close.
I don't know.
Best hair on the channel.
It
Best
might
hair.
be tough. It might be tough.
Best hair on the channel. Not even close. Julian's firing off. He says DeMarcus Lawrence is going to have a big game. Did you hate DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yeah.
Like, is he one of your like all-time hated guys, or he just was like, Cowboys?
I mean, you get any guy on the Cowboys, on the Eagles, the Commanders now, I guess they got a little respect. But I don't know if you saw the clip. There was a clip where a young Giants fan asked him for his autograph a few years ago.
DeMarcus?
Yeah, outside of MetLife Stadium. And he said, no thanks, you got the wrong jersey on. He's got a Giants jersey on.
No way.
And walked right past the kid.
To a kid?
Yeah, like an 8-9-year-old kid.
That's crazy. I had that happen to me one time, but with a former Seahawk. A Legion of Boom member, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so I had a Oregon State Beavers hat on. And if you are in the 360, you're from Vancouver, Washington. The Seahawks had Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman show up to Big Al's.
Okay.
Now, Big Al's, I would say, is think adult arcade, but like also like kid arcade, I guess. So there's like bowling. You got some cool arcade stuff, but there's stuff for mom and dad too. Like there's a nice little sports bar area, that whole thing.
For the whole family. Place for the whole family.
Yes. I didn't want to shout out a chain that's kind of the same.
Okay.
But it's they're two guy friends.
Okay.
They're hanging out. And if you know what I'm talking about, think that. That's the same idea. And so I met Brandon Browner. Brandon Browner was a cornerback for the Oregon State Beavers. I had an Oregon State Beavers hat on.
Yeah.
And I went to Brandon Browner and I was like, hey, I'm a big fan. I love the Seahawks. Had a Seahawks jersey on. And I was like, can you please sign this hat? Can you sign this autograph? He looked at me, looked at it, and was like, man, y'all better buy my jersey. And then he went away. So when he got into some trouble, I didn't feel too bad about that.
What's that? Where's that meme? It's like me showing up to my op's funeral.
Yes.
I was just smiling with the glasses on. So, Yeah, that's tough. I mean, when you're asked about Lawrence, that's the first thing that came to mind. Obviously, he did some damage against the Giants, but that was the thing where I'm like, do you hate him? I mean, definitely didn't make me like him anymore after seeing that clip. So
Fair enough. Well, I like him now. He's great.
no,
I'm excited to see what he does. Now, if you want to get your question on, we've only got probably we'll go 2-3 more minutes. I'm going to give you guys some opportunities to get it through. But I have to use my own hashtag because I got to ask a question. Hashtag Jocelyn. Sorry that I butchered your name. You asked, when will I have Cooper Kupp in? You're rooting from Yakima. First of all, Yakima, the Palm Springs of Washington, shout out to you. Lucky you. I would love to have Cooper Kupp in. AC Davis's finest. My main question for you, though, and this is why I'm saying hashtag Jocelyn, and I want to see your answer in the chat. Have you had Miner Burger, and do I hype it up too much because I love Miner Burger? So you let me know if you've had Miner Burger, and if me saying it's like a 9 out of 10 burger is too much. Make sure that you get that in because I want to know what your opinion is. I freaking loved Miner Burger when I was up in Ellensburg going to school at Central Washington. Do not miss our watch party on Sunday. Make sure that you join in. We are going to be there live an hour before. Don't miss it. Make sure that you're there with us. I also want to make sure that I mention this as well. You're going to notice that right now I do not have a Seahawks shirt on. I normally have a jersey or a shirt on when I'm here on the show. Today, I have my old high school Hawkinson Hawks football on. I thought this would be fun. If you ever want to see me wear a high school that you went to or your local high school out in Washington, let me know what that spot is. You can either super chat in a spot and I'll go and find it, or you can send it in here to the Dallas headquarters for Chat Sports, and I will make sure that I wear it.
yeah, they should reach out to you on social media
Yes.
and get that address, send the shirt in, give
Mhm.
them your size, everything like
Yep.
that. And if you want to get some press, some shout out, get your school
I will wear
on
it.
Seahawks Today.
Yep.
Will rep your school. Just either send the shirt in or super chat and let him know where he can get some merch or
Mhm.
apparel.
Yep.
And you can get your school, your business team, whatever,
Yeah.
on Seahawks Today.
I'll wear it. You can have a Chief Self T-shirt. I'll go buy it. I'll go figure it out. If you want to see me wear a Richfield Sputters uni, that's who the Hawks play on Friday. I'll make sure that I go and take care of that business.
Yeah.
So if
So I thought that's really cool. Will was telling me about it before the show. I think that's an awesome way to engage with the community, and I think that to really build that that connection for all of the viewers and the channel. So, all right, I think we are good to go to get into this mailbag. So
Yes. Let's do I'm going to give you 1 minute final call. I did get my answer from Jocelyn as I'm dealing with a foot cramp. They're calling this my Jordan flu game segment because I'm fighting through this little issue here. Oh, yes, for many years, and they're definitely the best. Love Miner Burger. Is Miner Burger technically Yakima, or is that Union Gap? Miner Burger was like, so the team doctor out at Central, for Central Washington, my old team, you had to go and visit the great Dr. Rue. You had to go visit them in Yakima. And so every time I saw him, it was never good news. And then I'd go to Miner Burger and just house like maybe the biggest thing of onion rings you've ever seen. I made the mistake of being like, oh, I'll take a large milkshake. And then they bring out a trough for you. It's absolutely insane. But yes, I do want to make sure, shout out Miner Burger. Love it. It is Union Gap. Okay. It is Union. I get confused. Yakima, Union Gap, it all kind of two cities that are just like this. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic burger. It's my favorite burger spot.
all right.
One of them.
All right. Well, that's a good thing about Seahawks Today. You can come in and chop it up about football, chop it up about the Seahawks, chop it up about food as well. So, and cool that you guys kind of have that local connection.
100%.
going on, So
100%. Like I said, if you ever want me to wear your old high school or anything like that, and you're from the state of Washington, the Seahawks do a great thing where they have all the helmets and they make it up of the entire state of Washington. I'd love to do the exact same thing. Jocelyn says that Miner Burger has been out there since 1950s. Yeah, Brendan, you send it in. I'll throw it on for you. I got you. Love to. All right. Without further ado, let's get into our mailbag. I've already been hyping it up all week. You do not want to miss our watch party here on Seahawks Today on Sunday. It is the best place to be if you can't be at Lumen Field cheering with your fans and your fellow 12s. If you can't be at Queen Anne's Beer Hall, you can't be hanging out with your buddies. You can hang out with your buddies here on Seahawks Today. All you have to do, subscribe to the channel. It will give you a notification. You can come in and join us, have a good old time while we're hanging out, watching the Seahawks play, and maybe, who knows, having a brew or two. Now we got to get into our first question, and old Macdonald, sounds like that buddy had a farm, and he wanted to make sure that I apologized for my Kenneth Walker slander. And you know what? Hand up right here myself, I own it. I was wrong. I thought he was washed. I thought there was a potential that I'd be doing a video right around this time where I talked about people that you could trade Kenneth Walker to or for. Who could you get as a solid running back in the NFL? Well, I think you get a pretty good return on that. I don't think that anymore. I apologize to Kenneth Walker. I was wrong. I was aware of your game, but I thought it was gone. I was unaware that your game had not left you. Hand up. Old Macdonald, I hope you accept my apology for him. Brendan Yoder, a real one, a guy who's constantly hanging out, talking with us here at Seahawks Today. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Hashtag Seahawks. Gray Zabel has a 53.4 rating so far. How do you think he will fare against the Saints defensive front? Is this going to be a prove-it game for him? Go Hawks. Yes, I do think it's going to be a prove-it game for him, but I also think that when you look at that rating, you do have to remember, who did he go against last week? He went against Cam Hayward. I understand the man is old. I understand that he's been around the block a time or two, but at the same time, when you've been around the block a time or two, you know how to win matchups that maybe you shouldn't necessarily win. Gray Zabel's only been through 2 games so far. He did really well in that 49ers game. Pittsburgh game, he took a step back. Well, he was going up against better competition. This Saints defense, yeah, they're pretty freaking good, and they're good at getting to the quarterback, but they're good at getting to the quarterback on the edge. Gray Zabel needs to continue doing what he's been doing. PFF has really liked how he's graded out this entire year. I've really liked how he's graded out this year. Sometimes the old moose will beat you. Sometimes the young calf still has to figure it out. I kind of think that's what you were dealing with there on Sunday. Hopefully that analogy made some sense. Eddie O, first time, long time. What's up, dude? Hopefully it won't be the only time that you're using the hashtag Seahawks. Should Charbs be RB number 1? Well, and here's the thing. There was a point in time where obviously old Macdonald heard it. I was banging the drum for Zach Charbonnet to be your number 1 running back. There was a point in time where I said he was the best running back on this team. I don't know that I think that anymore. The way that Kenneth Walker has been playing, the way that your offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, has been using this running back duo as a duo, a group of running backs where, hey, one isn't the main back. It's let's ride the hot hand. Whoever is doing the best in that game is going to be the guy who gets the most touches. I like that system. Sharps was the guy who was getting the most week 1. Well, then he should get the most carries. Kenneth Walker looked the best week 2. Well, then he should get the most carries. And then whoever's doing the best against the Saints, hopefully it's both of them. Hopefully they both look great, and then they will get the majority of the carries or split the carries. I like what OC Clint Kubiak's been doing. As much as I was banging on the table for Zach Charbonnet to be number 1, I think I got to put my hand up and say that maybe the OC, the guy who's getting paid to do the job, knows just a little bit more than me. I want to get into your mailbag. You've sent in so many great questions as Seahawks Today fans, but before I do that, I got to make sure that I talk to you about the sponsor of this episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I was playing Prize Picks this weekend. Tell you right now, I should have used the flex play option. I'm just saying. you can see I've got something going for this Sunday. Cleveland Browns defense against Julian Love. Julian Love's going to get more than 232.5 passing yards. Jordan Love, that is. Got the Seahawks on my brain. Matthew Stafford, less than 245.5 passing yards. Sam Darnold, more than 212.5 passing yards for your Seattle Seahawks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Eating right. Well, it doesn't look like that from your profile picture. Will Devin Witherspoon play this week? Is he going to be healthy? I don't know, man. Right now, I feel like you're going to get a good chance of him playing. We saw Devin Witherspoon dealing with that MCL bruise last week, missed all of practice all week long, and then what do we see him on Sunday doing? Well, he's out running around, getting a lather. He was not declared as inactive for this game until the very last minute by Mike Macdonald. In my eyes, if you are basically playing until the last minute, then you get a week off, week of rest, I'd be pretty confident that you're going to be able to go out there and play. That also being said, despite what my Twitter handle might make you believe, I'm not a doctor. So I don't know if he will be able to go. I don't know that he won't be able to go. I've been very impressed with how your secondary has played without him. Of course, I would love to have Devin Witherspoon out there. I think that he will go, but if you had to ask me, hey, scale it 1 to 12, right now I'm probably saying I'm at a 7. And I think every day that he doesn't practice, it goes down and down. Also, last little point here, Mike Macdonald did say that he does not have to practice this week to be able to go out and play on Sunday. Nicky Minwari does need to practice a little bit if he wants a shot to play on Sunday. So that's something to keep an eye on when it comes to their injury designation. Chieferton, what's up? I wonder what that could be in Chief meant to. Maybe he's a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. Do you think they will extend Woolen and keep him long-term or trade him away before his contract is up? I think that's completely up to Riq Woolen right now. I think you saw week 1 why there was a lot of anger towards him and why there are a lot of people that don't want the Seahawks to re-sign Riq Woolen. I think week 2, the way that he shut down DK Metcalf, shows you why the Seahawks might want to re-sign him. You can see that first year where he was basically should have been the defensive rookie of the year in my eyes. He should have beat out Sauce Gardner. He was better than Sauce Gardner. And then every year's been kind of a step down ever since then. Riq Woolen, this is a big deal. This is a big year for him. He needs to continue to step up and play like he did week 2 and less like he did week 1. If he plays more like he did week 1 or week 2, I think you're going to re-sign him. Plays like he did on week 1, I think you're going to see him go bye-bye. John Schneider is not afraid to let go of players if they're not being used in this team. And Mike Macdonald has also shown that if a player isn't going to be used in his defense or he doesn't think they can be used, not only is he not afraid to trade a guy, he's not afraid to cut him either. Julian, how's it going, man? Do you think that Byron Murphy can execute like last week? If Sammy D has another performance like last week, should we win? So we get a double question. Julian loves to get the twofers in there. It's a smart move by him. I would say that, yes, I believe Byron Murphy can execute just like he did last week. The guy is unbelievable, and he's playing at the level that we thought he could play. Continue to play at that level, get the pressures that he has been from the middle of this defensive line. It opens up everything for everybody else. Not only is he doing a good job against the rushing attack of opposing teams, he's doing a better job at the passing attack. You saw the Rams be their best when Aaron Donald was getting big rushes from the inside. You saw the Chiefs do their best when they were getting big rushes from guys like Chris Jones on the inside of that defensive line unit. Byron Murphy can continue to play like he has been. I think you're going to be pretty darn happy with the outcome on Sunday, and you'll be pretty darn happy with the outcome for his entire career. Now, for Sam Darnold, I want him to play the exact same way that he did in the second half. Just don't turn the ball over. If Sam Darnold can continue to play like he did in the second half, finding the open receivers, not making the dumb mistake, not turning the football over, Seattle's going to win this game by the middle of the third quarter. You're just a better team than the Saints, and the Saints, really, they shoot themselves in the foot. Then they shoot themselves in the foot. And then they kind of look around and shoot themselves in the foot one more time. And that's because they have a lot of penalties and because they have a lot of inopportune mistakes. Continue to make them shoot themselves in the foot and don't be the reason why they have any hope, any momentum going forward by the end of the third. Right now, we have a big Week 3 matchup, and the reason I say it's a big Week 3 matchup is because it's the next matchup. Winning games in the NFL, it is hard to freaking do. Shouts out Coach Boyd. So if you're going to be able to win games in the NFL, you have to treat each game like it's the most important game you have coming up. Seattle, you're a 7.5-point favorite. You need to win. You need to cover. Make sure you come hang out with us here on Seahawks Today for that watch party. We have someone pretty darn famous hanging out today with us. Didn't realize this, but we got Roll Tide Willie. Shout out, man. My fans are called the Willies. Maybe Roll Tide Willie is a Willie. When will the Seahawks unleash Jalen Milroe? Well, I think at this point we've gotten we know what we're going to get out of Jalen Milroe. And Seattle is going to use him in the low red zone or use him in certain packages. Now, on Sunday, you didn't get to have him out there as an active. He was an active, a healthy scratch. I think as the season continues to progress, there will be more opportunities to use Jalen Milroe. Use him the same way the Saints use Taysom Hill. I don't need a lot of Jalen Milroe. A little bit of Jalen Milroe goes a long way. And unleashing might be the wrong word, Mr. Willie, but I do think that using him in the low red zone with some key rushes can be a huge deal. You saw A.J. Barner get under center and be the tush-push guy because Jalen Milroe wasn't able to go. I think that'll be Jalen Milroe's spot, and hopefully we'll see him as the year goes, get his little packages of plays, get expanded so we can use not only his legs, but we can also use his arm because, frankly, there's not many people who can throw the ball as well as Jalen Milroe when it comes to deep passes. Still got to work on the short game and the medium game. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in your mailbag questions. You're going to want to make sure that you follow me on social media if you didn't get your questions answered, because at Will Ortner on X and on Instagram, I got Twitter fingers. I got Instagram fingers. I'm on there constantly replying. Just ask Randall. Just ask Richard. Just ask Brendan. If you're sending me questions, I will do my best to make sure that I get a response back to you. Ask Preston. Preston's sending me stuff every single Sunday about what to look forward to with your Seattle Seahawks. I try to make sure that I give him the best answers possible. Make sure you give me a follow on those sites. And until next time, I'll see you later. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in. Oh my goodness. We got to 60 likes on the live. That's fantastic. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Jocelyn, Connor, Brendan, Dwayne, real ones hanging out all the way till the end of the live. Jocelyn, shout out. Toppenish, Washington. No freaking way. So you know a little bit about Hawkinson Hawk football. Played each other in some 2A games. That is awesome. Shout out the Toppenish Wildcats right next to Wapato. Used to go there. And AC doesn't know anything about this. But
No, it sounds familiar to me because I don't know if you're not familiar. I'm from Long Island. Long Island has a lot of Native American like names in the towns. So it all kind of sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah.
The places don't hit, and I don't know what you're talking about, but it's you're speaking my language a little bit.
Speaking the language a little bit.
Places like Secatog and Massapequa, those are Long Island staples. So
Totally. Well, here's the great thing they don't tell you about Toppenish. They won a wrestling state title. I believe it was in 98. It's on the sign as you drive through. So when I used to go up to school, drive through Toppenish, make sure I get a little bit of gas, go drive by. They have a little gravel track, not at the high school. I think it's the middle school. Got a speeding ticket there one time. Whoops.
Did you wrestle in high school? I know a lot of those
I
like
did not.
sometimes football and wrestling is like a little bit of a crossover. So
Yeah, I don't want to say it's like my one big regret because you were not going to be able to get me into the singlet as a chubby high school kid.
I think
it just
there's
wasn't
like
gonna
a certain weight and up class, so it's like.
Oh yeah, I would have been in the unlimited class for a long time. I was a big boy. I think I graduated at like 280, 290. because like I played at Central at 3:15. I was a big boy.
Mhm.
I was a big boy. Oh, Jocelyn, shout out the Wapato Wolves. Hey, send in some gear. I'll wear it. I'll wear some Wapato Wolves gear. I got nothing wrong with Wapato. I don't know that we ended up ever playing them. We played Toppenish. It was a good time. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who sent some stuff in. Brendan, yes, I should have wrestled. It was a mistake on my part. I was a weightlifter and I was a track guy. Big track guy. Thank you so much to AC for hanging out. Thank you to the 27 real ones who have stayed in the entire time. AC, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say thank you for the 12s for taking me in and letting me hang out with you guys today. I had a great time. Great time working with my man, Will. This is our first time working together, actually. So hopefully not the last, but yeah.
First of many. We're both sussy for Russie.
Absolutely.
Or at least curious for Russie. Thank you guys so much for everyone who's a real one, hanging out, having a good time. If you want to have a good time just like this, on Sunday, an hour before the game, I'm in Dallas, so I'm on Central Time. So for me, that means 2 o'clock. If you're Jocelyn, you're hanging out in Toppenish or hanging out in that Union Gap, Yakima area, you're going to want to make sure that you tune in at noon. If you're Mountain Time, that ends up being 1 o'clock. And if you're all the way on the East Coast, that ends up being 3 o'clock. Tune in for our watch party. Come hang out. It's the exact same type of vibe. We're watching football. It's a great time. You do not want to miss it. Until next time, thank you all so much for tuning in.